Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now, it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your On-Side Radio E-Report with Kai Chen Chisholm.
Evil Geniuses, a gaming organization based in North America, has announced that they will partner with cryptocurrency company Coinbase. Crypto Bro is coming to gaming, and now Coinbase will be a shirt sponsor on the Evil Geniuses shirts for their games and teams in CSGO and Dota 2, as well as its FGC roster. The CEO of Evil Geniuses, Nicole LaPointe Jameson, said, "These collaborations allow us to invest back into our community in a meaningful way. By welcoming Coinbase to the Evil Geniuses family, we're giving our fans access to the largest cryptocurrency exchange in North America and the informative and educational tool they'll need to stay competitive in their ever-evolving global marketplace." This is huge, as Coinbase did announce its first venture into esports when they partnered with Blast Premier. Now they will be having their shirt sponsorship with Evil Geniuses.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the On-Side Radio E-Report. Wake up and good morning. 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh.
What day is it? Look at the calendar.
It's Thursday.
Thursday.
It's Thursday. You have changed something in this room.
I've changed my mind.
About what?
About waking up.
What else is there to do?
Going back to sleep.
Wake up! Wake up! Please, wake up!
Why?
Why? You're gonna miss out. You're going to miss it.
Miss what? The show. Show's not over. In fact, it's showtime.
Here's Toast and Marsh.
Welcome, everybody. This is not your usual host, but rather this is Tito filling in for Toast today. He's out getting his second dose of the vaccine here on 4th and 20. Alongside me, I've got my good friend and partner along the way, Sean Stanley.
How are we doing, Tito?
This is our time, Sean.
This is it.
This is it. This is where we take over Onside Radio and we drive it into the ground.
Yeah, this is the Oladipo injury, but nobody's taking advantage of that.
Exactly.
But we're going to take advantage.
This is right before Bill Buckner lets the ball go through his legs, right?
Oh,
we're feeling great.
Toast would love that reference.
Oh, that's right. He's a Red Sox fan.
He's a Red Sox fan.
I forgot about that. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate you guys coming on the show. Got a bunch of stuff lined up for you guys, as always. We had 2 Miami teams going yesterday. One winner, one loser.
Yeah.
Marlins, winners of 4 in a row.
Oh, caught a streak, baby.
Yeah. I mean, hey, 5-6, third in the division. Game and a half back of first place in the division. And entering the series, the Braves were 4-5. Now the Braves are a staggering 4-8. A game away from a full 4-game sweep from the Marlins. Oh, man, how good would that feel?
What is going on? Oh, you got to love it, right? These guys, the pitching. You know what's funny, though, is now our pitching has been good. Starting pitching has been good. Bullpen, but our hitting is starting to come around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the bats have woken up, right? The bats have woken up.
Hats for bats.
Jesus Aguilar has once again, I mean, I'm waiting for the wheels to fall off there. They're not falling off.
No, they're not falling off.
They're not falling off, man.
Oh.
And think about it. He got screwed because Manfred refused to do the universal DH. And if he was able to get plugged into the lineup, his averages are probably better. I mean,
Manfred screwed a lot of people with that.
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't Manfred screwed, right? I mean, I feel like this Marlins season, which by the way, we're 0 for 4 on replays, right?
Yeah, we just stopped. Just stop doing it. Just stop asking for
Here's
them.
what it is, Sean. I'm going to break it down to you. Ready? This replays, this is just one big punked, right? Like, I'm waiting for Rob Manfred to just run out into the middle of the infield with a microphone in his hand and just be like, guys, Marlins fans, we've been playing this whole joke on you this whole time. Look, there's a camera here. There's a camera here. There's a camera here. We've been getting these replays wrong on purpose, and all these cameras have done nothing. So, yeah.
I like your whole thing better than mine. Mine is, I just think Major League Baseball hates Miami.
I mean, that could be a thing. That 100% could be the thing, too. So, I mean, either way, I mean, fantastic win for the Marlins. They win it 6-5, 10th inning again. And I got to say this because I think this kid is electric. Jazz Chisholm, man.
Oh.
That is.
He's growing on me.
Oh, my gosh. I'm saying it right now. Get on the Jazz Chisholm train. Because if you're not on the Jazz Chisholm train right now, this is going to be a very frustrating season for you.
All aboard!
He is electric, man. 2 home runs in his last 2 games. He's been playing fantastic in this series, right? And that's with Miggy Rowe also in the lineup as well, right? So, the Marlins have something in Jazz Chisholm. That is no longer we'll wait and see. We had to trade Zach Gallen.
It's a prospect that is hit.
Right. He's a hit. He looks incredible. Mm-hmm. And my favorite part about him, he's got so much personality.
Oh, he loves the game, right? You can just see the passion beaming off him. I'm wondering, though, is that going to be looked at? Because, once everybody, you can start it and have your little bat flips and things at the beginning.
You're going with this, yeah.
But as you start building up that name and that reputation, does it start becoming
a target?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, if he's as good as advertised, he'll be fine, right? Like, people said the same thing about Tim Anderson. People said the same thing about Ronald Acuna. By the way, he had a fantastic game yesterday as well. But my point is, if Jazz is what we hope he can be, he's going to be the face of the franchise, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Blue
hair and all.
Like, the Marlins have fantastic pitchers, and I love Miguel Rojas like no one other because he's so likable and easy to root for. But if Jazz Chisholm continues to develop at the rate which he's shown right now, he makes Miggy expendable, number 1. And 2, Jazz is what baseball should be, right? Having fun, having swag, the Euro step after hitting the home run to home plate. And my favorite part is that pisses a lot of people off. But you know what, man?
Oh, especially the Braves. They're, man.
Oh, yeah, right. I mean, what doesn't piss off the Braves anymore?
The unwritten rule back.
Yeah,
the bearers of the unwritten rule.
Yeah, I mean, Ronald Acuna takes it personal every time he gets pegged, right? Like, sorry, Ronald, I like to throw inside.
But I stand on the plate, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I have an elbow guard that, looks like a knight's armor.
I mean, just Acuna is so not even on Jazz's level of swag right now. So
let me ask you something. Let me do this to you. Let me flip something. If Acuna's on our team and Chisholm's on the Braves, you're saying the exact opposite,
I'm
right?
100% a fraud, and I'm hyping up Acuna all day. Oh, of course.
No, I'm saying both.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Oh, no, but like my thing is, if you're the Marlins, and let's say you're a diehard Marlins fan. Let's say you are a 40-plus and older Marlins fan, right? And you have kind of gone through the different eras of baseball. How much does Jazz Chisholm piss you off? And does he piss you off, right?
He doesn't make me upset. I like that in the game. I like having the personality.
But Sean,
baseball doesn't, though.
Right, Sean, you and I are we're not the popular opinion on this. There's a lot of people
definitely not.
Who think that like baseball should just be lunch pail mentality dudes, right? Like straight Mike Trouts, like no personality, like just absolute, nothing there between the.
But that's also why Major League Baseball is in the position it's at right now. So Jazz, in the 4 major sports.
So everybody should be rooting for Jazz, and that's why I'm saying everybody should be getting on this Jazz Chisholm train.
Do it.
Because he is absolutely electric, man. So easy to root for. The blue hair is, it's a sight to see. And he's athletic, dude.
Yeah. And he doesn't come across cocky either when he does it. I think that's the one difference. Maybe it's because I'm a Marlins fan, so it doesn't come across cocky as me, but It's like, look, he hit the home run, I think it was a walk yesterday, and he took the bat and almost like basketball, did a basketball shot, throwing it over, and it's just so cool. Jazz Chisholm is. That's
right, and like we're saying, like that's what if you're a Marlins fan, like why wouldn't you want that, right? Like Stanton was an elite player for the Marlins, but to be honest, Stanton didn't have a personality, right? Like I think the most personality we ever saw with Stanton was when he did the cover shoot with, I can't remember her name, and she was like half naked and he was half naked, but like we never really saw like a fun, glowing personality like we have with Jazz. I can't remember the last.
No,
Miami Marlins.
And I think that was due to the fact that I think Stanton's one of those guys that when he puts the pressure on himself, he kind of shuts down. Because before that, even when he did like interviews and things like that, then he got the big contract and, the injuries and everything else. And then it kind of like he shut down and started becoming very defensive on everything.
Right. And so, I mean, this, if you're a Marlins fan, Jazz's projection right now,
so good.
It's so good. I mean, really, like, first and foremost, and it's been said numerous times, obviously I think Nick last night had a rough outing. I mean, well, it wasn't even a rough outing, just it all collapsed on him at one point, right? But, like,
one bad inning.
Those first 3 innings were pretty freaking solid.
Yeah.
But outside of that, this Marlins rotation is amazing, right?
Yeah, I think they've been good. Lopez had a shaky start last one, but he fought through it. I think that's the thing, too, is we had the 2 excellent starts by Lopez and Alcantara the first 2 times they went out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, again, I think Lopez gave up 3 runs, and so did Nieder yesterday. But when you're looking at that and saying, oh, it wasn't a great performance, I think you're saying a lot about this pitching staff.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing, like you're saying, Sean, the bats weren't awake for the first, I guess 6 games of the season.
At home,
right?
At home, they were not up.
They were not up, right? And now it seems like they've kind of hit a groove. Adam Duvall, I mean, look, maybe he had some extra motivation because he's playing his old team, that basically said, hey, we don't think you're good enough. But, I mean, he's shown up. He's done what he's had to do thus far through 11 games, right? Same thing with Brian Anderson, a tremendous player who, it felt like that playoff last year, he was kind of catching fire right towards the end of that Brave series. Yep. So,
you got the guys that are doing their jobs right now. Garrett Cooper.
Right, Garrett Cooper.
You're seeing some of these guys now getting in and doing what's expected. I mean, the only one that's not really doing his job, I would say, is Jorge Alfaro.
Right. And
the catcher that can't catch.
I'll be the first one to say that it seems like his time is running out. And I don't mean that as in he's a bad player, but like with the way the Marlins are trajecting, he's either going to be just, a casualty like in the offseason, or the Marlins will try to move him at the deadline.
It's just very weird. Like, he's just having all issues. I don't know if he's, like, brought everything in on himself where he's just battling his own self, but everything just seems to be going wrong. He's not hitting good. He's not playing the field well. You saw even Wallach called a better game when he caught for
Wallach's head and shoulders better than him right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you're as good as your production tells us, so Wallach is the better catcher right now.
The numbers do not lie.
Exactly. So, great win by the Marlins. On the other hand, Heat, another tough loss. They lose to the Denver Nuggets 123-106. Pedestrian game from Jimmy Butler. I think, Sean, you had it. He's 13 points, 9 rebounds.
Yeah, 13 points, 9 assists.
9 assists. And so the Heat dropped to 28-27 on the year.
They are their record.
And look, luckily I'm going to get into it, and we'll get into it with the roundtable later. But until we get clarification on Oladipo, right? Like there's still some, I guess, unknown about what's going on there. And I think for the sake of sanity of the mind, it's probably best to operate on the fact that he's probably not returning for the regular season. This NBA season in general has been a cluster. The Heat season has been an absolute cluster. The injuries, the COVID sideline earlier in the year that set them back in the records, and it kind of just feels like there's never been a steady point for the Heat this season, right? And could you call that maybe that's just how they're just a 500 team, right? But
no, I think it's funny though, for everything that's gone bad this season, is everything that went right when they were in the bubble last season.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It almost fit the Heat perfectly to be in that bubble, having everybody right there than what's going on this season.
Look, man, in the NBA, with the amount of injuries we've had this year, with the strange nature of injuries, the Jamal Murray's, Markelle Fultz's, and all these other players that have had season-ending injuries that are terrible, that's the name of the game. You got to stay healthy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's just the way that this works. And the Heat last year were a benefit that the moment they got into the bubble, all their guys were healthy. The 76ers lost Ben Simmons 2 games into the bubble last year because of a knee injury. Embiid wasn't even 100% either. So I'll get into it later. I just think for the sake of a Heat fan right now, it's best to operate like you are somewhat of a wild card. You're not a contender. I just think the mindset a Heat fan should have right now is somehow make it in as a top 6 seed and see if you can play spoiler, right? Like that's the way I'm looking at it, because I
just got to avoid the play-in, but you make it in and then try to spoil.
I mean, you avoid the play-in, because then you're flirting with not even making the playoffs.
Yeah, because
that's a disappointment. Yeah. I don't think if they get eliminated in the playoffs this year, even in the first round, I don't see how you can view that as a disappointment just because of the nature of this season and their play. Like, they are not a top 4 team in the East right now with the way they're playing, and that's to say because the East isn't that good.
No, the East isn't that good. And then now when you look at it, I mean, I know, I think you've said it before, Tito, and then I've listened to, the Inside the Pain, and then when Aaron and them are on there, it's like, if we get in a play-in game, you're more than likely you're going to win. I don't know right now that's a full-blown certainty right now. When I look at it, yeah, great, it's the Knicks, it's the other teams, but, man, all it takes is, 1-2 bad games and you're out.
Right. And to think about something else here, Sean, right? Like, think about all the decisions the Heat are going to have to make. All the decisions the Heat are going to have to make this upcoming season, this upcoming offseason, correction, right? You have to address Duncan Robinson. He's going to want big money. And like I said, and I still stand by it, that is a dangerous decision. And that's not to say that Duncan isn't worth that money, because he's a fantastic shooter, but you have to, align yourself with what's best for the team right now. Is strapping yourself to a guy who, when his shot is not falling, provides you nothing else, $80 million? I don't know. You have to make a decision on Victor Oladipo. That is unknown, right? Because we just don't know what he's going to be this offseason and what type of offers he's going to get. And then, after that, think about this. The Heat have to keep in mind, a year from now, we're going to start having talks about Tyler Hero's extension. And so all of this at once with, the potential free agent targets like Kyle Lowry, Kawhi Leonard, X, Y, and Z, what happens with Oladipo. I think the Heat, like I said, they just need to focus on finishing out the remainder of the season with a positive record somehow and get into the playoffs and then try and just play spoiler, right? Don't think of yourselves as these towering giants that defended the East last year, because you're just not. Think of yourself as, hey, the Bucks might underestimate us, and I think we can beat them in a 7-game series again. And I think that's the best mindset for a Heat fan and for the Heat to take, quite honestly. So, a lot to come up on the show today. 8:30, Edwin Garcia from the Lemon City Live Show is going to join us, talk some Marlins, talk some baseball. I know he's a huge baseball fan. And then at 9:30, we've got the EJD Construction Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. I'm going to talk to Omar about the draft, because what else are we going to talk about right now? I might talk to Omar about Fast and the Furious 9, the trailer. I know all of you saw it. I want opinions. I want thoughts. I have opinions. I have thoughts. Some you might not like, because we are literally jumping to the space realm with this movie. That is not a pun. That is in the trailer. Sean, look at the trailer. I'm telling you. So we're going to talk about a lot today on the show. Glad you guys are all tuned in. And, guys, remember, Miami Dolphin fans, join us on Side Radio's NFL Draft Party at Sports Grill in Miami at 11481 Southwest 40th Street, Bird Road. Join Big O and Alex Dono for his 2-night event starting on Thursday, April 29th at 7:30 p.m. and Friday, day 2 at 6:30 p.m. Drink and food specials, giveaways, and the best damn draft party in South Florida. Join us for a 2-night event at OnSideRadio.com and Sports Grill in Bird Road, bringing you the best NFL draft party on the planet.
You can reach out to Toast and Marsh by dialing 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
It's Toast. Smartest thing I did last year? Called B&T Windows and Doors and had PGT custom windows and doors installed in my house. Listen, it's spring. That means before you know it, we'll be hearing about the tropics churning. That means you need to get your home and family protected today. Call B&T right now and they'll get you installed ASAP with the best in the business, PGT Custom Windows and Doors. 954-233-0126 or bntwindowsanddoors.com. And P.S. Tell them you heard about them on Onside Radio.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Inter Miami CF fans, the 2021 season has arrived.
He got into Morgan, now beats out of the heart of the penalty area, picks out the bottom right-hand corner, and Inter Miami have a 2-goal lead. Pizarro's second for the club.
This Sunday, Barrosa Negra hosts the LA Galaxy at Drive Pink Stadium. Our pregame coverage starts at 2 p.m. Don't miss any of the action all season long. Download any of the apps at our website at OnsideRadio.com. This Sunday, tune in to OnsideRadio.com at 2 p.m. Game time is at 3 with the voices of Inter Miami CF football, Chris Whittingham and Thomas Rongen. Your football is live, exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Inter Miami fans, time to find out more about your favorite soccer team with OnsideRadio.com's IMCF Football Focus. Here's Austin Robillard.
And yet another signing for Inter Miami this offseason. It just does not stop. We are a couple days away from the home opener, and the club announced just this past Monday, Nick Marshman, the current Feyenoord keeper, is going to join the club in July when his contract is set to expire. The 30-year-old keeper will take up an international roster spot, leaving Inter Miami now with 9 international players come summertime, and at the moment they only have 7 international roster spots in their name. Expect some roster moves to be made by this front office by Friday when roster compliance is needed.
Keep up with the latest on La Rosa Negra by subscribing on most platforms. Search Onside Radio. Welcome back to 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh. To reach out to the boys, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Toast and Marsh.
Tito and Sean filling in for Toast today. Toast is out here on 4th and 20 on Onside Radio. If you guys are tuning in through the YouTube app, make sure to just jump in the chat room. I'm here waiting for you guys to jump in with us. You want to ask a question, or if you want to text it in, you can always text in some questions. Always ready for that. Phone line 888-441-4623. Text line, texting your questions, 888-844-416-8123. I wanted to talk about this notion that I've kind of seen on Twitter a little bit and seen some names thrown around. Some of our hosts have this tendency to talk about this guy like this, but I saw someone tweet the phrase settling for Devonta Smith. And it got me really upset. And I'm going to go with you on this, Sean, because I feel like you and I have kind of been sound in mind on the same concept about what the Dolphins need entering this draft. And I'm going to leave my offensive line slander. I'm going to put it down for a minute because that's not where I'm going with this. So I saw someone say, well, it would be a shame if the Dolphins settle for Devonta Smith. Sean, do the Dolphins all of a sudden have an all-pro or Pro Bowl wide receiver that I don't know about?
Apparently Will Fuller gets signed and everybody's okay.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, I just, look, I get Isaiah Ford. He has a difficult responsibility both, being a receiver for the Dolphins at times and also working at Best Buy with the Geek Squad. But I don't understand how some of you can hold your nose above Devonta Smith at number 6 as if he didn't win the Heisman, right?
He was the talk going after the season last season.
Right, yeah.
That was the Dolphins' pick, right? At 3.
Yeah.
At 3, it was Devonta Smith. Now we're at 6.
Yeah, and that's natural, right? Like we were some of us were prisoners in the moment, and the Devonta's stock right after the national championship was as high as it was. And then as the college football offseason, the draft process wore on, it seems like he's taken his hits, and now he's more than likely a 5 through 12 pick. And, was 3 a little too high for Devonta Smith? You can argue that. I can get that. I can back up that. But the phrasing or the idea that the Dolphins would be settling for Devonta Smith is ludicrous. We're talking about the same guy who set the SEC single-season receiving record in yards with 1,856. He set the SEC receiving touchdown record with 23 touchdowns in a season. Oh, by the way, he broke Jamar Chase's previous record from the season before with 20. Okay? Smith finished with 46 career touchdown receptions. That's the most by a Power 5 receiver since Ryan Broyles. Okay? Now here's one of my favorite arguments about Smith, which is,
do it.
Oh, well, his size. It concerns me, Tito. How does a guy so frail, what's he going to do against press coverage? The highest single-season yards per route run averages since 2016. Do you know who number 1 and number 2 is? It's Devonta Smith. He's both. In 2019, he had 4.3 yards per route against press coverage. In 2020, he was number 1 with 4.6 yards run per route. How are Dolphin fans urinating on the Heisman winner joining their team as if the moment he doesn't walk up to that stage and grab the Dolphins hat, he is not easily the second or third, at worst, best receiver on the team? Like who's better? Name, give me the receiver that is better. Now, you can argue Will Fuller. Sure. When healthy, Will Fuller might be better than
when
Devonta.
Healthy.
Who else? Devontae Parker's not better than Devonta Smith.
No, neither. And
both of those guys, Will Fuller and Devontae Parker, what's their main issue? Can't stay healthy.
Same thing as Preston Williams. Can't stay healthy.
Can't stay healthy. And I'm not even. He's
you
not.
Look
even
at our top 3 or 4 receivers; they can't stay healthy.
Yeah, right. And I'm not even considering Preston Williams in this conversation. Preston Williams needs to play more than 10 games to be someone that is considered a.
What about Albert Wilson?
No, I don't think so. We haven't seen Albert Wilson play a football in a year.
Yeah.
Right? And there's I know, Big O doesn't agree with this, and some people won't agree because, you need the speed, you need the hands. If Albert Wilson shows any bit of lackluster, kind of slow out of the gate in training camp, he can become expendable. It's
going to be interesting to see what they do with that receiver room.
Right. And so I just find it hard to believe that as a Dolphins fan, people can be holding their nose above Devonta Smith. Well, it would really suck to get the Heisman winner.
I think a lot of that's due, though, too, to because of all the talk that right now Kyle Pitts is getting, Jamar Chase is getting.
And it's fair. Trust me. Look, I will be the first one to tell you that my preference is one of those two. But I would be lying to you if I said I am anything but ecstatic about the idea of landing Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I don't think we can lose with either one of those three, honestly.
Right. And you know what's the other added factor here with Devonta Smith? Already has chemistry with Tua.
That 2019 year, he was Tua's receiver.
Right.
Tua's receiver.
And in 2017, Tua threw the game-winning touchdown pass in the national championship to Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith can work in the slot. He can work outside. And I'm so tired of hearing the weight concerns. Marvin Harrison wasn't an issue. Steve Smith wasn't an issue. Chad Johnson, although a bit bigger, was not an issue with their weight. They made it work because you know why? Because they were elite athletes. So
that's the thing too. Is I think look, us sitting here, I look at 170 pounds and I'm like, no way it's going to make it. But you're talking about, like you said, an elite athlete that's been doing this at the top level in the SEC for his whole playing career right now. It's not like he's coming out of BYU or somewhere. He's done it at the top level of college football, and he's done it consistently.
Right, and you made a great point there, Sean, which is competing in the SEC, right? The biggest, baddest conference in college football. He's beaten Derek Stingley Jr. from LSU, who is considered, one of the best cornerbacks in college football, going to be in the NFL soon. He beat Chris Henderson Jr. like a drum from UF, who plays for the Jags. He beat J.C. Horn from South Carolina, who's the number one cornerback in this draft. He went up against Patrick Surtain every single day in practice, and you have to admit, he probably got the best of Patrick Surtain.
Oh, I'm sure they went back and forth.
Right, I'm sure they went back and forth.
But here's something funny, Tito. Listening to you, I feel like I'm hearing the same things that are being said about Kyle Pitts.
Oh, and look, without question, 100%. And like I said, if you put me on the I guess the plank, right? I have to jump off before I jump off, you tell me give me your top three in order. One is Kyle Pitts, two is Jamar Chase, number three is Devonta Smith. But none of those three are in any way settling for the Dolphins. You're not settling with Devonta Smith. You are adding a playmaker with Devonta Smith.
I think a lot of the shine, like I said, has been taken away because you're hearing everything Kyle Pitts.
Well, the draft process took place, right?
Yep.
And that's something I kind of wanted to touch on with Omar, which is how do we go from Justin Fields making the heroic efforts that he did for Ohio State to 3 months later we are raking this guy because he's lazy, he plays baseball, right? Like that one was wow. Oh. Backroom yoga stretch by Chris Mortensen. Oh. They're afraid because he was a baseball player, right? So
baseball players never make it in the
right,
NFL.
yeah. I mean, there's no history of that. Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson. But
don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
Right. Look, man, I think Dolphin fans need to have a much more rational perspective when it comes to this draft. There are a bounty of receiver options. You are not losing any bit of steam if they select Devonta Smith. So keep that in mind. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Edwin from the Lemon City Live, talk some baseball with him. And I just had my little page open. But, okay, guys, on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., my co-host Sean Stanley hosts the Square Circle Digest. Now wrestling fans have a place to call home as Sean covers the very colorful world of wrestling. Tune in every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on the home for sports fans worldwide, OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance. Say hi, guys. When I adopted them, I discovered that they both have incredible personalities. Chance's sole purpose in life is to love and to be loved. Frankie is a little bit of a scoundrel and always entertaining. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
Miami Dolphins fans, join us for OnSideRadio.com's NFL Draft Party at Sports Grill in Miami, 11481 Southwest 40th Street, Bird Road. Join Big O and Alex Dono for this two-night event starting on Thursday, April 29th at 7:30 p.m. and Friday, day 2 at 6:30. Drink and food specials, giveaways, and the best damn draft party in South Florida. Join us for a two-night event as OnSideRadio.com and Sports Grill on Bird Road bring you the best NFL draft party on the planet.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Riddle me this. With all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
The Miami Marlins, they took Game 3 of the series in their 4th win in a row, 6-5 in 10 innings. Jesus Aguilar drove in the winning run with a double in the 10th. John Curtis got the win, and Yimi Garcia got his 2nd save of the season. Game 4 of the series as the Fish go for the sweep of the Lonely Braves. 12:20 is the start. Trevor Rogers, Ian Anderson is your pitching matchup. The Florida Panthers, they're back in action in Tampa, skating against the Lightning. Puck drops at 7 p.m. on NBC Sports Network. The Panthers, they're tied at the top of the Central with 58 points with Carolina and Tampa Bay, so a very important matchup here tonight. And the Heat, yep, they lost again. 123-111 against the Nuggets. Bam Adebayo led Miami with 21 points. Kendrick Nunn added 16. Jimmy Butler had 13 points, 9 assists, and a loss. Their next game Friday in Minnesota. And last night, Chicago White Sox pitcher Carlos Rodon, apparently from Miami, he threw a no-hitter against the Cleveland Indians. It's the second no-hitter in 5 days. San Diego's Joe Musgrave tossed the franchise first no-no earlier this week. This is South Florida's home for local sports talk. This is OnSideRadio.com.
Welcome back to 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh. To reach out to the boys, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Toast and Marsh.
Welcome back to Toast and Marsh. Tito and Sean filling in for Toast today. He's out. We will do our best Wally Pipp impersonation for the time being. We're going to talk some baseball here with Edwin Garcia, the co-host of the Evening Juice with Lemon City Live. You can check them out on Twitter.
You don't have to call. It's okay, girl.
'cause I'ma be all right tonight.
All right. Sean, I thought we couldn't play music on here because of copyright law.
We might be copyrighted on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we just got copyrighted because of that.
That's an original, don't worry.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel a lot better, actually. Thank you for that. Edwin Garcia of the Evening Juice. How are you, man? How's everything going?
Dude, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Really happy to talk to you guys this morning, man. 4 wins in a row for the Marlins. I woke up with another Yimi Garcia save for my fantasy team. Yeah, bro, I'm doing good this morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. And you touched on it, 4 in a row for the Marlins. And I said this to Sean, and this is where we kind of took the first segment when we talked about the Marlins. Edwin, if I gave you $1,000, right, and you had to divide that $1,000 into stock for every young Marlins player right now, why would you put all that $1,000 into Jazz Chisholm? And explain why.
Why I would? On Young? Oh, man. Dude, he's got the I don't know what the word for it is. I want to say swag. I don't want to say
braggadocio. Say it.
He has it.
He has it. Like, he came in, I was real high on Isan Diaz. Remember, was it a couple seasons ago when he cranked the home run in off the Grom, I think it was, and his dad was watching and they were interviewing him, and Isan had all this swag too. But this one just feels a little different. Maybe it's just the blue hair, Maybe if this guy had committed to the color change, he'd be the second baseman. But it's just something there, man. I dig it. I really like what he's doing. And I didn't know he had this kind of pop because both bombs have been monster dongs. Like, no doubters. You know what I mean? I thought he'd be like squeaking him over the fence. No. He's putting it dead center, 30 feet behind the wall, upper deck in New York off the Grom. Like, whoa, I didn't expect that.
All right, let's go from the good of Jazz Chisholm to the bad of Jorge Alfaro. What is up with a catcher that can't catch? It's your job. It's literally the title of your job. What is going on with Jorge Alfaro?
Man, see, with Jorge, bro, this one hurts because, at my Colombian side, there's not many of my Colombian peeps in Major League Baseball. And the Marlins at one point last season, I think, or 2 seasons ago, had like 4 of them. And now I think Alfaro is the last remaining guy. And it's just not looking good for him. I don't know what it is with catchers, man. There's really, like, when you think about it, there's like 5 good catchers in baseball. And then there's like 24, 25 other guys that are just, Chad Wallachs, you know what I mean? Guys that'll get a thing done. But I don't know why catching is so hard, man. Like, there was the Buster Posies are gone. The Yadi Molinas are, obviously they're in their 20th season now or whatever it is that he's at. You don't have those guys. A perfect example in my fantasy baseball draft, I was so excited when I got JT Realmuto. And then I realized that if I didn't pick him up, there's seriously like 2 other catchers that I would have gone. If not, it's just why even have a catcher? I thought about like not even playing a catcher just because it's too much of a risk right now. I don't understand. I really don't know. But Alfaro, I really hope for his sake he figures it out because he had the stuff. It's just it almost looks like the yips out there. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I kind of think he's in his own head right now because like the other day, look, he got short hopped a little bit, but that's not a play that a catcher can't make. It's not like he couldn't have stopped that one with the runner coming home, and he was pretty much dead to rights there. When you look at this team, everything that's going on, we knew the starting pitching. We're getting what we thought of from there. The bullpen, not so much. And then now it looks like we finally settled on Yimi Garcia as the closer. Do you think this bullpen will settle down as the season goes on? Again, we're only in the second week of the season. Can the bullpen, because again, we were told pitching-wise the bullpen was going to be better or one of the strong points, and so far it's probably been one of the weakest.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We were sold this offseason that we had solidified a bullpen, that we had great starting pitching, that, the pitching side of the game was going to be strong, and that all we needed on offense was Adam Duvall. And, unfortunately.
Hey, Duvall's coming through.
Hey, yeah, I was going to say, man, he took it personal this past week.
He did, and good for him. But let's hope he does it outside of Atlanta. You know what I mean? Because that's where he was raking last season. I hope, before the season started, I thought every team in the National League East got better, and I've been repeating this same thing because I still think it's relevant. every team got better. The Mets added players. The Nationals are still, a year removed from their World Series championship. The Braves are the kings of the East right now. And even the Phillies have been getting better and better. I mean, they have guys there. They can put it together. They got a good coach. We said, hey, we told everybody, hey, we're good. We got Adam Duvall. And I'm like, but then in spring training, hey, we were pretty good at spring training. Like I started buying the thing, and then we got off to the bad start. Maybe it's a credit to the bad calls. We had some unfortunate bad luck with those the instant replay. Like, I don't understand MLB umpires. Oh, my God. But aside from that, now we're starting to turn it around. Man, can this team be like that scrappy team? I don't know, man. I'm really hoping. The thing that gives me faith is that wait till we get Hernandez back, wait till we get Sixto in the rotation. Then maybe we can move some of these guys around a little bit and reshuffle the bullpen. And maybe that, when we have all the pieces in play, maybe we can do it. Because I thought Bass coming into it, he was lights out in spring. What happened? I don't know. So I still feel like he's solid. Jimmy had a great 2020. I thought he was going to be the closer coming in. So maybe once we add Sixto, once we bring this guy back from the IL, we might be able to rearrange these pieces a little bit, and then it might start taking shape. Come on, guys. Come on. Can we be buyers on July 31st? Can we be buyers? Like, can that finally happen?
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly where I was heading, Edwin. And maybe not such in the buying department, because we know what we are, right? Like, we're not going to lie to ourselves. We know what we are, but that doesn't mean we can't acquire something in return. So my question would be, is last year, we got Marte at the deadline, and it was probably the exact type of juice move we needed to make that playoff kind of push. Is there someone on this roster currently, the 25-man, that you feel like is expendable and could net the Marlins something that if they're trying to make another push this year, hey, these are, I'm not asking you to name the guys that could help them. I'm asking you to name, who do you think on this roster might be the Marlins parting ways with by the end of the year?
Man, I think it's going to have to be, unfortunately, somebody I like a lot. I think he's a guy who, because of injury, hasn't been able to play a whole season. But when you look at his numbers I guess how they say, in a vacuum, just during that era when he was playing well, he was putting up all-star numbers a couple seasons ago. And that's Gary Cooper, man. He's kind of like the odd man out with a lot of potential, but he just hasn't found his spot in the lineup. We're putting him in right field with Duvall. Then he could play first base, but Aguilar's pretty much got that down. His defense, he's kind of a liability in the outfield. He's much better at first base, but Aguilar's better there. You kind of have this like platoon of the three guys. What really, the no DH rule in the National League kind of is what's limiting him. And if we had the DH, man, I think we'd be a lot better off right now.
Agreed.
But, so would a lot of teams. But and then also, man, Jazz is, like I said at the beginning, Isan Diaz he had that Javi Baez feel to him when he was coming up, I liked him a lot. Maybe if he just had a horrible spring, like he just got beat. So if he starts putting it together, maybe he's a prospect that we can put out there that people are still high on, and maybe we can get something back. But I think everybody else is pretty safe. You're not going to get rid of Dickerson. You sign him to the bigger deal. So I feel like he's locked down at left field. I don't know. I think that, to me, it'd probably be Cooper Loop, man. As much as I hate to say it, because homeboy can rake. He can rake.
That is a fact. He can rake. We're talking with Edwin Garcia from the Evening Juice with Lemon City Live. You can check him out on Twitter at @IamLarryFresh. Now, Edwin, my question for the pitching rotation is, you have Sixto, you have Sandy, who's been fantastic. Tonight we've got Trevor on the mound. Those are your three main horses, and I think, for any conversation in playoff baseball, you need three, right? Like, you need three. That is the base rule. But is there someone that you think could potentially, be of a help in the starting pitching rotation for the Marlins this year that we're not talking about, that isn't one of those three?
Man, Pablo is still money. I think Pablo's going to be real, real good. I'm hoping this is the year he really distanced himself from like what he's done in the past and really makes makes that next leap or the next step forward. This kid who's hurt right now, Hernandez, Eliza, I like him too, man. That's the thing. On paper, when you really look at it, maybe, I don't know, maybe Jeter's been putting stuff in my drinks, man. I don't know. Maybe he's like really starting to feed me stuff.
Is he giving you gift bags?
He's really yeah. I was wondering who dropped that off. It all makes sense now. I was like, man, I don't even like this cologne, but it's maybe that's what it is, man. I've been buying too much into it. I wonder because I talked to some of my boys that are like West Coast fans and old buddies from the military, and like I start telling them, have you heard of Pablo Lopez or Sixto? And they're like, who? like so I don't know. Maybe I've just been buying the juice here because we're all excited and we want it to be that thing, but. I feel like I'm telling you. I feel like this team a week ago, this past weekend, I was on the edge about to jump over and send everybody to hell because I thought this team was 1-6 and we had no signs of anything good. But one little pitching change, my primo Jimmy Garcia comes out there and he starts doing stuff. I'm feeling a lot better this week.
Well, as they would say, I don't know what movie it's from, or I think this is Star Wars, right? It's Don't Tell Me the Odds. That's what Edwin's saying. Don't tell him the playoff odds. Don't tell him the playoff odds.
One of the 9 Fast and Furious movies that you like so much.
Man, don't even get me started, Edwin. All right,
You had to go there.
Yeah, you knew exactly what to say just to set me off. Okay, we've got a spaceship. How
did they hide John Cena for 8 movies?
Right.
How did they hide John Cena for 8 movies?
You can't see me,
right? Yeah, you can't see him, right? And also, it just so happens that in the 9th installment, it's like, by the way, he's had this brother who's a billionaire. So just let me sneak that little storyline in. So
call him Rock Light.
Like no cop ever did a background check before and noticed, his siblings and his parents.
The Rock never at one point, Hobbs never at one point was like, oh man, did you know that Dom has a brother who's loaded?
Yeah, dude. What a horrible cop.
The Rock will never give Cena his due.
Edwin, we appreciate your time, man. Thank you for coming on with us. We really enjoyed it. Guys, check him out on Twitter. I am Larry Fresh, the co-host of the Evening Juice with Lemon City Live. Edwin, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for having me, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, so we're going to take a break and come back for the final segment of the first hour. Wow, it already went by. Catch a South Florida staple every afternoon as Alex Dono hosts the Man of the Match from 3 to 6 p.m. Dono covers everything from football to MMA. Tune in to one of the most complete sports shows in the country with Man of the Match with Alex Dono, 3 to 6 p.m. exclusively at OnSideRadio.com.
You can send them a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123.
It's toast. When South Floridians need hurricane windows, there's only one crew to call, Brett and Tom at B&T Windows and Doors. They came to the crib last year, installed PGT windows and doors, and now I'm set. No more plywood, no more knuckle-busting wing nuts. PGT windows and doors will keep me and my family safe the next time a named storm comes rolling on through. Call B&T today, 954-233-0126, or bntwindowsanddoors.com. And P.S., do me a favor, tell them you heard about them on OnSideRadio.com.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Onside Radio continues to grow. To make your life easier, you can now find your favorite sports station by downloading the Radio FM app and listen to your favorite OnsideRadio.com host or catch a great Inter Miami CF match. Go to your app store, download Radio FM, and search Onside Radio, the home for the South Florida sports fan.
All right, class, let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. You know, air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
Let's get back to the 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh. You can send them a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Toast and Marsh.
Wrapping up the first hour of Toast 4th and 20 with Toast. Filling in for Toast today, Tito and Sean here. I'm going to make this a quick segment, but I do want to play some funny boomer sound. And I'm going to play this because I know that a lot of the people that like to listen to this network and this sports radio station and people that listen to sports in general, they grew up during the golden era of what sports radio talk was, which was Mike and the Mad Dog, right? Like, Mike and the Mad Dog was it was the golden era, right? And so I want to play this because yesterday the big news was the Nets were sitting Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, and James Harden against their big game against the Sixers. People were upset about that because it's a big game. Why aren't they playing? You know, this that type of notion kind of doesn't include the fact that there's the ridiculous number of injuries. But maybe we can actually, because we're going to go over here. But I just want to preview it, and then we'll get to it in the top of the hour, in the second hour here. But I really am just interested in the people that still listen to the Mad Dogs and the Skip Baylesses and the Mike Francesa. Is Mike Francesa even on the air anymore? I don't know.
I think he's just doing podcasts, right?
Oh, okay. Well, good for him. I mean, you know, maybe this keeps him awake and not falling asleep at the microphone as much or as often, for that matter. But I know a lot of you guys
do it in between naps.
Yeah, I know a lot of you guys love to listen to him. So we'll wrap up the first hour here on Onside Radio. Thank you for tuning in. Florida Panther fans have a place to call home every Saturday morning, as Cats insider David Dwork will host Chirping the Cats Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. Onside Radio is committed to all sports. Panther fans can now connect every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. with David Dwork on the home for Panther fans worldwide, OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnSideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans! Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome back to 4th and 20.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Guess what time it is?
Well, what time is it?
It's time to get
Get some!
Get some! Get some!
Get some! Get some!
Some what? Some what?
Get some coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Then
We can start. We can start?
Let the show.
Here's Toast and Marsh.
Welcome in. Second hour here of 4th and 20 with Toast. Toast is out today, so it's Tito and Sean filling in. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. If you're listening on the website, on the MyTuner radio app, the radio.net app, Zenith radio app, we've got so many apps. It's fantastic.
Simple Radio.
Simple Radio is another one.
Radio.net.
Or if you're listening on the regular OnSideRadio.com app, thank you for tuning in. If you're in the YouTube chat, make sure to jump in, ask a question. If you want to text in, remember the text line is 844-416-8123. You want to call in and ask a question, 888-441-4623. So I teed up some sound that I wanted to play. It was too long, so I kind of saved it for the top of the hour here. And Sean was enlightening me before I kind of opened this pearl of conversation, because this is this is, like I said, I'm about to make fun of a person that a lot of people grew up listening to in sports radio, which is Mad Dog Russo. So, like I was saying yesterday, news, LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, James Harden, all out for the big game against the Sixers. People were upset about this because, they want to see, the best of the best go at it in the regular season, but yet we complain that the NBA regular season is meaningless, and yet when the players treat it as meaningless, then we get upset. And, it's not like we've had a record number of injuries this year in the NBA, so God forbid they sit out, an important regular season game. Sean, I want you to cue up the sound, and let's hear how Mad Dog Russo reacted to this.
Let's go to Pat Riley. Hey, Pat, no Ewing tonight. I know you're playing the Bulls and Jordan, but Ewing's going to pass because his knees are sore. Ewing, who played every night when he was freaking, I was there many a night in many a locker room when Ewing had to freaking ice his knees. Talk to the media every game. Sit in front of that locker room every game. Sat there with his ice on his knees, and he played night after night after night after night. Played his ass off. Night after night. You think I tell you something right now? Ewing wanted to play. Yeah. How about Krause telling Jordan somewhere in the 98 season when Pippen decided to take a pass with that late surgery, as we all saw there in the documentary? How about Krause telling Mike, Mike, we're in Sacramento tonight. You played last night. Let's take a blow. You know what Jordan would do? You know what Jordan would do? My God Almighty! You couldn't rip the uniform off him. That's basketball. That's what he would do. He'd freaking play. How about Paul Silas? How about Havlicek? How about Havlicek? Ran 8 miles every game. Havel played from 1963 to 1979. 16 freaking years. Every single game. You think Havlicek's taking a night off? Havlicek! Twice the player that any of these guys are. You know how great Havlicek was? It makes me sick. And you guys rip Cousy. How many games Cousy played? He'd taken trains to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and run into the ball game because the train is late, and they played the night before in Boston.
So, that's Mad Dog Russo.
I think he was upset.
He felt some type of way about it, clearly.
That's basketball.
That's Havlicek. None of these guys are Havlicek.
Ran 9 miles a day.
Look, man, I understand that a lot of these radio personalities have a demographic which they appeal to, which is my favorite demographic, which is these current players are soft because the ones that I grew up are tough and they're gritty and they played every night and sure, some of them couldn't walk by the age of 50, but they're tough. Oh. We're big, we're strong.
If you didn't have a broken nose after the game, you didn't play.
Right. I mean, I believe it or not, I think there was a football player that made a comment along the lines of that recently this past year. Like, if I can still remember my grandkids' names, I didn't play the game right. What are we doing, man? Look, I love sports like anyone else. I love sports. I love competition. I love great athletes going at great athletes. But you know what I don't love? Seeing Earl Campbell not being able to walk once the game is over. I hate seeing stories of injuries debilitating guys to the point where they literally cannot live the same way they used to once the game passes them by. Right?
It's the sport evolving into where you can play it and still live a life.
And yet we're supposed to get mad about Kevin Durant, James Harden, LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin sitting out a regular season game. A game that a lot of people talk about the NBA regular season being the most boring regular season, yet when they don't want to play in your most boring regular season game, you're up in arms about it, and you call the NBA soft, and these guys, they're not Havlicek. They're not Cousy. You're right. They're better than both of those guys. And I'm not afraid to say that at all. Would you agree with that, Sean? Would you agree that
they're definitely more athletic and in today's, again, it's a whole different mindset. I mean, Tito, I don't know if you grew up with this, but I used to grow up every day, every morning. I'd be like, oh, I don't feel like going to school. And you know what I would get? I used to have to walk to school barefoot both ways in snow, and you get to drive your car. You're going to school. It's just the mentality, the mindset of, things as they evolve, as society evolves. It's a different game now. Could you like the game back then? Yes. Can you like the game now? I think the game's better now than it was back then.
100%.
That's why the TV deals are so much better now than it was back then. It was hard to watch basketball back in the day. It was great if you wanted to watch MMA because they were only scoring 60, 70, 80 points, and you just saw bloodbaths underneath the basket.
Right, and that's my point, right? Like there's always that argument of like, oh, well, back in my NBA, they used to play real defense, where the hand check wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
If you needed a hand check, you weren't very good at defense. I'm sorry. That's just the reality of the matter. If you need to tackle me to stop me from getting to the basket, you're not a good defender. Okay? And for the idea that LeBron or Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving or James Harden wouldn't have success in the past eras because of your toughness and physicality, you're crazy. They would still put up incredible numbers. In fact, they might even put up better numbers because they're better athletes.
Yeah, that's the thing. That you don't think about it as, look, LeBron has played tight end in football. It's not like LeBron has never been hit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you look at it. And he's like, what is he, 6'8"?
6'9", 250.
6'9", 250. I mean, give me how many guys back in the 80s were 6'9", 250 handling the ball and shooting the way LeBron does. Didn't happen. The one that did happen is probably is the greatest player in basketball.
Right. And mind you, Michael Jordan he created the term Jordan calls, right?
Yeah.
Like you're getting Jordan calls. You are getting the superstar calls. That was not like Michael Jordan's a special case. No, that happens in today's NBA. LeBron gets calls. Anthony Davis gets calls.
Yeah, the superstars get calls.
They get calls, right? It's just the way the game works. So, I like for Mad Dog Russo, huffing and puffing and climbing this mountain to call all these players trash.
Yeah. And here's the one thing is I think it's a great strategy by the Nets. Not saying this is why they did it.
Oh.
But you're probably playing Philadelphia in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Why put them out there and let you see, okay, let's see how we can figure out how to strategize against them. Bench everybody. Good luck. Play this team.
You're going to play Kevin. You're going to play all your dudes on a back-to-back, mind you. You're going to play all your dudes to be like, hey, we beat the number 2 team in the East. Great win, everybody. Let's go ice up. We got a day off.
Oh, do the interview with the ice in the knees.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
basketball.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got it. I need to see Kevin Durant in his Zoom press conference with ice on his knees,
everywhere.
Ice everywhere. Because if not,
he didn't play.
Yeah, he's not a real basketball
not
player.
A real basketball
Bob Cousy though, that's a real basketball player.
These guys.
Gosh, man. I mean, my goodness.
Soft.
So I just kind of wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page there as far as like you need to pick a side about this NBA regular season. Either you think it's meaningless and you're looking forward to the playoffs like everyone else, where we've had a record number of injuries. One of the best players in the league just tore his ACL, and now players are really starting to voice their concerns.
Well, you're seeing the injuries mount up, and you're a team like the Nets that are so far ahead.
Right.
There's no need to be playing.
Why? Why would they? What incentive do they have?
None.
They're going to be a top 3 East team at the worst, and guess what? They're probably going to make the finals anyways. So why waste your energy in the regular season when everyone locks in for the NBA playoffs, and that's where it really matters? So.
And they're in. So, I mean, it's not even like they're
right.
playing
they
for
clinched,
anything in.
Right? Yeah, they
I mean,
clinched. They clinched. It doesn't really matter. So, phone line 888-441-4623. The text line is 844-416-8123. And staying in the topic of basketball, we talked about it. Heat take another tough loss. They lost to the Nuggets last night, 123-106, dropping back-to-back games. Currently 7th in the Eastern Conference. And I said this before, and we can kind of talk about it, and we'll open it up for the roundtable in the next segment. But if you're a Heat fan, I really feel like you've kind of gone through I guess, regression to the mean in terms of expectations, right? Like
if you're smart, yes.
If you're expecting this team to still be in the finals, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Unless the Nets start playing guys in back-to-back games, it's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, or Kevin Durant or Harden or Kyrie get injured, which...
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they start playing them in back-to-back games for injuries.
Right. And so, look, the Heat lost to the number 2 and number 4 team in the West. The West is a far superior conference to the East per usual, and the Heat are reeling a little bit right now. The offense is very difficult because if shots are not falling and no one from the bench can give you a spark, which, I look at 2 names when I say that. Goran Dragic and Tyler Hero.
And Dragic has been sitting out the back-to-backs.
Man, and look, I love Goran Dragic. Goran Dragic is going to be a guy who, I'm not going to get into the whole conversation of should his jersey be up in the rafters, is he a Heat lifer? I don't care about that. I'm talking about where he is right now for the Heat. He's going through it. And my whole premise for the Heat is if you don't get similar level production of what you got from Goran, Bam, and Jimmy from last year's playoffs in this year's playoffs, your roof is going to be a second-round exit.
Yeah, if that.
Right?
I think without Goran coming into this, I could see a first-round exit. And I'm not saying that's going to be a bad thing with where this team is.
Right.
But here's my one problem, Tito, is when I look at it, again, I was against the Harden trade. I was, because I was under the disguise of we had a lot of depth on this team. But when you watch this team play, when you watch the first team defense, and then it switches out to the second team coming off, or some of the bench coming into the game, there is such a drop-off on this team.
Oh,
now
100%.
That I'm like, wait a minute, where was this depth that I was looking at?
Right, and here's what bothers me more than anything, which is the Oladipo injury. Look, am I saying that Oladipo was the key for the Heat to make a deep run? No, but he helps, man. He helps significantly.
He's that Band-Aid.
Right, and we'll really break it down for the roundtable in the next segment. I'm going to head to the break here, but I'm going to tease you. I'm going to leave you with this. If I told you that the Heat are going to have a disappointing finish to this season, but it opens the door for possibilities for the next season, what is your response to that? So, Heat and NBA fans, catch Ira Winderman here exclusively at OnsideRadio.com with our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat reports. Catch Ira throughout the week at OnsideRadio.com. And when news breaks, basketball fans know Onside Radio is a place you get the insight you need right here on OnsideRadio.com.
You can send them a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Duncan to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
It's toast. Smartest thing I did last year? Called B&T Windows and Doors and had PGT custom windows and doors installed in my house. Listen, it's spring. That means before you know it, we'll be hearing about the tropics churning. That means you need to get your home and family protected today. Call B&T right now and they'll get you installed ASAP with the best in the business, PGT Custom Windows and Doors. 954-233-0126 or bntwindowsanddoors.com. And P.S. Tell them you heard about them on Onside Radio.
If you missed NBA insider Ira Winderman and the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report, you missed this.
Boogie Cousins is the sexy name, but I think they just might as well get someone who is a functional name. They will add another big body. I don't know if it's Boogie, and I'll tell you why, guys. He's been available since February 23rd.
Yeah.
So it's not like 28 other teams haven't had the option as well. That's a little bit concerning to me.
The Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report with NBA insider Ira Winderman, exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
The fighting spirit of the Marine Corps is born of battles won. Battles won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's a promise made to you for more than 2 centuries. A promise of the Marines.
Fish fans, time to reel in the latest news in baseball with OnSideRadio.com's Marlins Minute. Here's Christian Chase.
Tonight, the Marlins played in the 3rd game of a 4-game series with the Atlanta Braves. Remember, coming in, the Marlins had already taken the first 2 games from their division rivals who had their number all of last year. And tonight, it looked like things were no different. Early on, a 2-0 Marlins lead was extended by a 3-run absolute mammoth of a home run off the bat of Jazz Chisholm, before eventually the Braves worked their way back to tie it at 5, and the Marlins and Braves found themselves in extra innings for the 2nd time this series, before Jesus Aguilar doubled home a run, and Yimmy closed the door to put the Marlins at 5-6, dropping the Braves to 4-8.
Keep up with the latest on the Miami Marlins by subscribing on most platforms by searching Onside Radio. Welcome back to 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh. To reach out to the boys, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Toast and Marsh.
4th and 20 here, filling in for Toast today. He is out. He'll be back tomorrow, though, so you guys can get your, special Toast per usual. Nice Friday episode of Toast. Tito and Sean filling in for the day here in the 2nd hour. We've got Omar coming up in the next segment. Omar Kelly of the Sun Sentinel for the EJ Construction Dolphins report. And I want to get into the roundtable discussion today. If you don't know what the roundtable is, every day our hosts sit down and tackle the most important local or national sports headlines. The Roundtable is podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review to listen to all kinds of station segments. OnSideRadio.com, the host for all of South Florida sports. So today's Roundtable is, after watching the Heat lose again on the road in Denver last night, is it realistic to think this team can make a deep run in the NBA playoffs? In your opinion, what is their postseason ceiling? So I kind of gave it away in the previous segment, and I think Sean and I are one and the same with this, so not a lot of arguing in today's show because I think we just kind of agree. But I can't help but feel like this season has just been a sham from the moment the Heat got ridiculed with COVID-19. I think it set them back. I think people got out of their roles, and losing Jimmy for 2 weeks plus did not help whatsoever. I think the NBA screwed the Heat over by making them play, but can't cry over spilled milk, right? Like, we're here now. We're 7th in the East. They're going to have to make into the playoffs, and they're going to have to match up with somebody in the playoffs, albeit that's if they, aren't in the play-in game, which they can get bounced. What I will say is this. If they have Victor Oladipo, I'm not necessarily betting against the Heat. If they have Victor Oladipo and he's healthy, I think the Heat can play, a deep seed spoiler, right? They can win the first round, they can make the second round, and then after that, all bets are off. I don't want to touch it. If the Heat team we're currently looking at is the same one we're going to see in the playoffs, I can't help but feel like it's going to be an early offseason. And Sean said it, and I tend to agree. They could be a first-round exit. You match up with the Sixers or the Nets in the first round, I'm sorry. I don't think you're winning that series.
No, and I agree. Right now, where they sit, they would match up with the Nets. That's a first-round exit. Actually, right now, I think they're in the play-in game.
Yeah.
Because they'd be 7, 8, 9, 10.
Right.
They'd play the Hornets, so they would probably –
you might get bounced in that one.
Right now, they're sitting there. They're about the same team.
Yeah.
28, 27, 27, 27.
Well, and the Hornets have beaten the Heat on both occasions this year.
Yeah, and again, I think even if Victor Oladipo does come back, remember how he looked the first few games once he joined the Heat.
Yeah, you can't expect.
That's almost what you're going to get going into the playoffs if he does come back. And again, a lot is being said about the mentality of the injury.
Right.
Where's that mental state going to be?
Right. And Victor has to keep out for his own value, right?
He's got a contract.
He's got a contract decision coming up. and he knows that if he doesn't play, his value is going to be at the floor. But if he does play and he really injures himself, he's basically not playing in 2022. And so my point is, I think the Heat, their ceiling at the best is probably the second round. And I don't know if you agree with that, Sean.
I echo that. And honestly, I'm almost set to say no matter what happens, they get bounced in the first round. I think making the playoffs is their ceiling, and they're out the first round.
And
whether it's a play-in or they're number 6 and playing against the Bucks right now.
The Bucks, right. And you know what, though, Sean? If they win a series, give them the credit, right?
Oh, no, definitely.
This season has been a joke, man.
The credit they didn't get last year for making it to the finals.
Right.
They should deserve, especially if they win a series against the Sixers, the Nets, or the Bucks.
I'll say this as well. Prepare for the I told you so's from the national media.
You're getting it already. They're
right.
already coming out.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I get it. But, like, let's take the macro perspective here as a Heat fan, right? Let's zoom out. We as Heat fans in the beginning of the year were talking about 2021 Giannis free agency. We talked about, okay, we're in the James Harden discussion now. Okay, now we're in the Kyle Lowry discussion. And then it ended with Depot. So we got lower and lower and lower in terms of caliber of player. And then we ended with Depot. And in his final game, we saw flashes of, wow, this Heat team can really do some impressive things, right?
Yeah, you started seeing the flashes leading up that whole week, the 3 games or 2 games leading up to that injury.
So then Murphy's Law happens. Depot gets injured on not even a physical play. And, remains to be seen what happens with Depot. I could not help but feel like entering this year was house money, right? We're working on a little bit of house money. What do you mean by that? We're still looking at the 2021 free agency big time. We're looking at it with Victor Oladipo. We're looking at it with Kawhi Leonard potentially. We're looking at it with Kyle Lowry. And I can't help but feel that as a Heat fan, all you really need to show in this playoffs is that you belong, right? That you're not some run-of-the-mill joke team that just just had a fluke run, right? Like, I know everyone wants to disprove that we're not a fluke and we're going to make the finals again and we're going to take the Lakers and we're going to be healthy. Look, man, just be realistic. If you make it to the second round, you knock one team out, you take the Sixers, the Bucks, or the Nets to 6 games, you can sit in front of Kawhi Leonard, you can sit in front of Kyle Lowry, you can sit in front of potentially Depot. I don't know. We'll see. But you can sit in front of one of those 2 dudes, right? And you can tell Kawhi and or Lowry and say, hey, we had a rash of injuries this year. We got screwed over by COVID. We lost our best player. And we had, the shortest offseason of any NBA team in the history of the league. If we add you, Kawhi, Lowry, one of the 2, we become a top 2 team in the East and a finals contender. And to me, that's more important than how the Heat finish this playoffs. And I don't know if you agree with that, Sean, because maybe I'm grasping for straws with the idea that the Heat will be in a Kawhi conversation. I know they're going to be in a Lowry one. I
can see Lowry more than Kawhi because I think Kawhi, if he's leaving, he's going to a championship, and I don't think the Heat can say we're a championship team.
You don't think a Kawhi, Jimmy, Bam lineup is in championship?
If Bam takes that next step, he shows signs of it. If he can take that next step and start dominating games, I would be more to say yes, more inclined to say yes. But Bam seems to kind of reserve down the leadership when Jimmy's on the floor. Now you add another alpha in Kyle Lowry.
Good point.
I think if Bam takes that step and starts doing what Bam can do that we see flashes of all the time, again, he stayed consistent this year, but he can dominate games. And if he does that, then yes, they become a championship team with Kawhi and Lowry, I believe. But without that step, I believe they stay, in the top tier. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they make that final hurdle until their max player makes that step.
Right, and reminder, this is on the basis of the Heat have to kind of take into account what's going on with Duncan Robinson. And I think this playoffs is important for Duncan Robinson because, look, if we go into the playoffs and we have 5-6 games of no Duncan Robinson, and I don't mean like he's not playing. I mean like he's just literally
just doesn't show up.
Doesn't impact the game. I find it really hard to convince me that he is worth $60 to $70 million. I understand.
Now, how much do you put this on Duncan, and how much do you put it on that Spo needs to, or the Heat need to figure out another way to get him. Look, the handoff doesn't work anymore.
I cannot sit here and tell you that it's Spo's job to make Duncan look better. Duncan needs to be a player. Okay? The dribble handoffs have made Duncan valuable.
Yeah.
Right? You
and
can't,
those are gone this year, by the way, too.
Right, because teams adjusted to it. And now Duncan needs to adjust, and he hasn't really shown that he can yet. And look, it's not his fault, right? Like, I can't be mad at Bam Adebayo because he's not making three-pointers. He's made the leap already. And Duncan has made his leaps, too. He's marginally improved as a defender. He's shooting a better clip as a three-point shooter. I mean,
some of his numbers are better this year than they were last year.
But we've seen what happens when that three-point shot is not falling. And so, I said this on a 5 Reasons pregame show once, which I think it kind of matters in this context. The Nets paid Joe Harris $80 million. And Joe Harris is a really good player. Joe Harris is a better player than Duncan Robinson. But do you know why the Nets paid him that money? Because the Nets have the luxury of having 3 top 10 players on their team. The Heat don't have that. The Heat have 2 top 25 guys. I'll give you that. But they don't have the luxury to cash strap themselves to a player whose base value is the dribble handoff. And when teams know, hey, that's how Duncan makes his money, and he can't adjust to that, how do you compensate? How do you make him worth the contract he's about to get? And that's not my question. So that's my ceiling for the Heat. A second round, show that you belong. Show that you belong and enter free agency and try to woo one of those big-time whales. Coming up next, we've got Omar Kelly for the EJD Construction Report for the Dolphins. And remember, folks, Sundays at 9 a.m., Juan Cardona dominates the airwaves with Juan on Juan, from sneakers to video games to your favorite South Florida teams. Tune in every Sunday to Juan on Juan exclusively on the home for sports talk in South Florida, OnsideRadio.com.
You can reach out to Toast in Marsh by dialing 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Download the radio.net app so you can listen to OnsideRadio.com everywhere you go.
She's kind of a big deal. Some people like to say it's only because of how she looks. She sticks her tongue out a lot. But there's just something about her that makes people do crazy things, like get tattoos of her face or wait in line for hours just to say hi. Lil Bub is a 2-year-old cat, an Instagram celebrity with a following bigger than some 90s television stars. And it all started because she was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Lil Bub, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
The Miami Marlins took Game 3 of the series in their fourth win in a row, 6-5 in 10 innings. Jesus Aguilar drove in the winning run with a double in the 10th. John Curtis got the win, Yimi Garcia's second save of the season. Game 4 of the series, 12-20 today. Trevor Rogers versus Ian Anderson, your pitching matchup. The Florida Panthers, they're in Tampa skating against the Lightning tonight. Puck drops at 7 p.m. on NBCSN. The Panthers, they're tied at the top of the Central Division at 58 points with Carolina and Tampa Bay. The Heat, they lose again, 123-111 against the Denver Nuggets. Bam Adebayo led Miami with 21 points. Kendrick Nunn added 16. Jimmy Butler had 13 points, 9 assists in the loss. Their next game, Friday in Minnesota. And last night, Chicago White Sox pitcher Carlos Rodon throws a no-hitter against the Cleveland Indians. It's the second no-hitter in 5 days as San Diego's Joe Musgrave tossed the franchise's first no-no earlier this week. This is South Florida's home for local sports talk. This is OnSideRadio.com.
Brace yourself. You might not hear what you want. You can always expect Omar to keep it real, whether you like it or not. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Sun Sentinel writer Omar Kelly. EJD is your one-stop shop, custom home builder, and general contractor for residential construction. Call them 305-433-4843. Find them on Facebook at EJD Construction. Here's Omar Kelly with your Miami Dolphins report segment.
Welcome back to 4th and 20. Tito filling in for Toast here alongside Sean Stanley. Time for the EJD Construction Report. Coming on now is Omar Kelly from the Sun Sentinel. You can follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Check out his work at thesunsentinel.com. Omar, how are you? How's everything going, man? Good morning.
Good morning. I am doing well. Another beautiful day in sunny South Florida. The weather's just right. It's not the humid June, July that we grin and bear through. This is the point where you get excited about what you got going on down here in South Florida.
You know, Omar, you make such a great point, and to make matters even better, the Fast Furious 9 trailer came out yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's been a double whammy of great weather today, and then the trailer comes out yesterday. Are you excited for that in any way, shape, or form?
I am. That's one of the series that you can argue it gets better and better. I mean, rarely do you see sequels just improve, and I'm a Fast and Furious guy.
I think I can track back the first one to when I was in like 3rd grade. I might be able to.
Wow.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
That's pretty good. You know what was funny? And I'm glad that you mentioned the trailer because I was pleasantly surprised that Bow Wow was part of the trailer for this, and I guess he's in it or has a cameo. But I thought his Fast and Furious was actually one of the better ones.
Oh, the Tokyo Drift one.
Yeah.
I to be honest, I haven't seen that one, so.
Oh, you got to see that one. I was pleasantly surprised with Tokyo Drift. It showed me about a culture that I was not familiar with, and a world that was foreign to me. So I was very appreciative of it. But Vin Diesel getting back to being Vin Diesel, and you know what I love about that? Proud of him because he owns and controls the Furious franchise.
He does. He absolutely does. You're so right on that. And it definitely is something that has kind of just exploded beyond anyone's capability of what they thought that series would be. So, I mean, look, the trailer had a spaceship in it. I'm not going to say anything else. It had a spaceship in it. So, credit to them. Apparently they're in talks with a Jurassic World crossover. I don't know. My mind is all over the place here, Omar. And we've got draft stuff going on as well, so it doesn't make it any easier for me. But I was checking out your website, and I saw you wrote a column about how the Falcons kind of will be a good indication of what happens with the Dolphins at the number 6 pick. And I made this point earlier in the show, and I kind of wanted to bounce it off you and see what you thought. There's this quote-unquote doomsday scenario for the Dolphins where the Falcons take Kyle Pitts, the Bengals take Jamar Chase, and then I've seen people talk about settling for Devonta Smith. Is that a real thing? Is settling for Devonta Smith, the Heisman winner who broke SEC records, is it really are we supposed to be a little upset about that?
Yeah. I actually think that Devonta Smith has a chance to be selected in the teams. I don't think he'll go as high as most people anticipate or expect for numerous reasons. I'm a Devonta Smith fan, and I've gotten over the size. That was one of my biggest holdups about him. But then I realized, or somebody educated me, that, Marquise Brown, who I was absolutely hot and bothered by when he was coming out in the draft 3 years ago, Hollywood Brown, he weighed 166 pounds in the draft. And when you put that in perspective, and I know he was taken in, I believe it was the 20s, when you put that in perspective, that guy who weighs 170 or less pounds can still be successful, it kind of makes you understand, hey, we're overanalyzing, and that's part of what the draft process is. It's it's analysis by paralysis. You just overanalyze each player, and I tell you what the process is. You pick, you hype it up so he comes out. Then he's in the draft. You analyze everything he does, from his 40 time to his vertical jump to his broad jump. You put him through a battery of medical tests. Then you find the flaws in this game, and you highlight it, and you talk about it for the next 2 months and tell you why he might struggle or why he doesn't deserve to be a top 10 pick. And then your team selects him, and he's the best thing since sliced bread, no matter what round he goes in. You think he's a fifth-round player that's going to be a star. And that's just the draft process, man. It's something that's reliable and consistent, just like EJD construction, and it just never ever changes.
Yeah, and I'm glad you kind of touched on that, because my next question would be, it seems like the Justin Fields saga just continues to get more ridiculous. And yeah, I can sense it, Omar. I can feel that sigh you just let out, because I'm growing tired of it. And that's kind of where I wanted to go with you on this, which is, it feels like every year in the draft, there's one prospect that we just decide to absolutely just eradicate and shred and dissect and then start reaching for things. The latest comment.
He's usually a black quarterback.
And I mean, I can't quite figure out why the top 3 projected mock drafts are, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones. I can't quite figure out why, but I'm trying to figure out how we went from Justin Fields dominating Clemson in the college football playoff semifinal to now we've got Chris Mortensen worrying about his experience with baseball. Why does this happen? Why do we pick one guy every draft and just absolutely dissect him to pieces?
I don't think he even played baseball, did he?
He played, I think, high school. That's from what I understand. He was like a top prospect, which, I mean, Omar, there's never been a quarterback in the NFL who was also a successful baseball player. I mean, that's just that's unheard of, right? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Kyler Murray. It's not even. I can't even. And unfortunately, it's agent on agent hate and crime, and a lot of people are disappointed that he didn't. I'm sure if he was signed with CAA, let's just cut to the crap. I'm sure if he would have signed with CAA, Justin Fields would have been the best thing since sliced bread, and Chris Mortensen, who was represented by CAA, would have been singing his praises.
Yeah, and so that's where I think you've touched on this before, and you've told me and Dono and Omar and Big O about like the agent, warfare that happens with the draft process. And I just find it amazing that like we saw this guy throw 5 touchdowns against Clemson, lead his team with a broken rib into the national championship. And now we're talking about, well, he doesn't process the field correctly, and he doesn't, he has leadership issues, and the baseball career is concerning. And I thought what Ryan Day did was pretty cool, which is when he heard those leadership things, he didn't toe the company line of, well, he was great in our locker room, and he said, no, this is the guy who, when no one was playing college football, he organized the petition for the Big Ten to play again, right? I'm trying to figure out where does this leave Justin Fields? If you're Justin Fields, what is your expectation, and outside of workouts, what can you do?
One, this is much to do about nothing. I will say this. I'm not a huge Justin Fields fan, have never been. He would not be a quarterback that I select. I'm intrigued by what happens to him, but I just don't like athletic quarterbacks. So it's a scramble-first quarterback. Let me be more specific. So that wouldn't be a selection that I made. And even when he was beating down Clemson, I was on Twitter telling people, yeah, he's not going to be the second quarterback taken. So it's going to be Zach Wilson. But with that said, the criticism that he's facing is unfounded. It's unsubstantiated. It's gossip, and a lot of it is meant to make him fall, and that's just part of the draft process. I personally believe if the San Francisco 49ers were hot and heavy for Mac Jones, as the world claims that they are, do you really think that they would tell everybody in the world that they're hot and heavy for Mac Jones?
Right, yeah.
My answer to that question is no. And because of that, I believe that's a smokescreen, and I believe that Justin Fields will be the selection at 3. And, they're just trying to ensure that, the Jets don't always obviously start to have some envious eyes at Justin Fields. So it benefits the 49ers. If you look at where the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan has like a history going back to this kid from when he was in high school. And I love the way that people say, and I've gotten this from the 49ers directly. Well, Mac Jones fits what Kyle Shanahan is looking for as a quarterback. Isn't Kyle Shanahan's father the Shanahan that coached the 49ers and coached the Washington Redskins and needed an athletic quarterback to run his play-action West Coast offense?
That is correct.
Isn't that the same Shanahan? So all of a sudden, just because he had Matt Ryan, that's a quarterback that he needs and wants and can't live without. I disagree. I think he's going to allow you to think that it's Mac Jones, and all the while he's probably going to select Justin Fields while the nation spends the next 2 months dissecting his game and telling you how horrible he is as a player.
Right. I mean, and you said it, Omar. It's smokescreen season, as we like to call it. So I'll leave you with this.
I call it lying season.
Lies. Okay, you can just be more to the point. That's true. You can do that.
Yeah, it's a lying season. It truly is. And people who are not, you hear the peripheries of it, but everybody's lying. If you hear that the Miami Dolphins, and I'll tell you this is a fact, not fiction, not debatable. If you hear that the Miami Dolphins are absolutely in love with a prospect, that's either misinformation that's being fed out there, or it's an agent trying to drum up interest and excitement for his client. You mostly hear that during free agency because having the Miami Dolphins name associated to your client gets you paid. It raises that offer about $3 to $4 million. But for free agents. But in the draft, I don't understand, but there are no leaks in the Dolphins organization. I'm sorry, I cover the team. There are only 2 people, and this is the thing. People have this impression that everybody who works inside the organization knows what the thought process is and what they're going to do and how they feel. There are literally 3 people who make this decision and 3 people who actually know what's going on and what the thought process is. Maybe 4, and I'm stretching it a little bit with Marvin Allen, maybe 4. But It's Chris Greer and Brian Flores, and they meet the night before the draft with the owner, Steve Ross, and give him the game plan.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like every direction for the Dolphins we've talked about for the past 2 drafts. I mean, there were rumors, I think, at one point about the Dolphins selecting Derek Brown last year with the 5th overall pick instead of Tua. So I'm with you there. Omar, as always, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. The EJD Construction Report. You can check him out on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Check out his work at the Sun Sentinel. He did a column over how the Falcons will dictate the direction of the Dolphins' first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Omar, thank you, and I look forward to hearing more about your fascinations and love affair with the Fast Furious 9 series.
I say that I love the series, but I'm not even sure I've watched 8. It's so many of them.
Well, Omar, the thing
I want to see them get to double digits, though.
Well,
they got to.
The family. That's at the end of the day. Family is what conquers all. And now somehow John Cena is involved. So we're here. This is how we got here. I don't know how we got here, but we're here. So as always, Omar, thank you so much. Appreciate it, man.
All right, talk today.
All right, so last segment coming up here. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. That was Omar Kelly. And every Saturday at 11 a.m., soccer fans can connect with Austin Robillard and Red Card Radio. From the Premiership to the MLS, catch up with your favorite team, including our very own Inter Miami CF. Listen to Red Card Radio every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Austin Robillard, exclusively on OnSideRadio.com.
This has been the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. From additions to home remodeling, call Eric at 305-433-4843. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDConstruction.com.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's toast. When South Floridians need hurricane windows, there's only one crew to call, Brett and Tom at B&T Windows and Doors. They came to the crib last year, installed PGT windows and doors, and now I'm set. No more plywood, no more knuckle-busting wing nuts. PGT windows and doors will keep me and my family safe the next time a named storm comes rolling on through. Call B&T today, 954-233-0126, or bntwindowsanddoors.com. And P.S., do me a favor, tell them you heard about them on OnSideRadio.com.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me, I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Inter Miami CF fans, the 2021 season has arrived.
Figal into Morgan, now beats out of the heart of the penalty area, picks out the bottom right-hand corner, and Inter Miami have a 2-goal lead. Pizarro's second for the club.
This Sunday, Barrosa Negra hosts the LA Galaxy at Drive Pink Stadium. Our pregame coverage starts at 2 p.m. Don't miss any of the action all season long. Download any of the apps at our website at OnSideRadio.com. This Sunday, tune in to OnSideRadio.com at 2 p.m. Game time is at 3 with the voices of Inter Miami CF football, Chris Whittingham and Thomas Rongen. Your football is live, exclusively at OnSideRadio.com.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Dono for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
Welcome back to 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh. To reach out to the boys, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Toast and Marsh.
Final segment. 4th and 20, filling in for Toast, Tito, and Sean here. And got Kai's Corner coming up. I feel like I saved just enough time to make this entire final segment about none other than Fast and the Furious 9. And I'm wondering, because I feel like I can hear him, is Kai there? He is.
I'm here. What the heck are you talking about?
Kai. First off, how are you doing? I know you're recovering from two things, not one thing. You're recovering from two things. You know.
Don't even start. Your team got bailed out by referees, and you want to start with me right now?
Look, Kai, I mean, it's just the way the Champion League falls, man. You know, I don't know what to tell you. Look, let's focus on bigger and better things. All right, Fast and the Furious 9. Did you watch the trailer? Have you seen it? What do you think?
Well, first of all, in terms of recovery, I'm doing much better with
the
Moderna shot.
Okay.
It kicked my butt yesterday. It's kind of still kicking my butt a little bit today, but I'm doing much better. In terms of Fast and the Furious, no shot.
You haven't seen the trailer?
No.
Right, Sean, let's do this.
There's
take
too
him
many,
off of Skype.
Tito.
Let's take him off of Skype, and we'll do the next 2 hours again.
Yeah, Kai, please hold.
So okay. So are you're like me, where you think it's jumped the shark a little bit? There's too many Fast and the Furiouses.
There's been too many for too long now. I don't understand how they keep going.
How old were you when the first one came out? I think the first one came out in 2001, right?
Yeah, the first one came out in 2001. I was 3 years old.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Why, you're a Fast and the Furious guy?
No. I'm not really. I think it's funny. Like, I think the way people obsess about it is funny. Like, okay.
The greatest movie series ever.
Yeah, right. And
I don't care about Star Wars.
We've turned into the Bill Simmons podcast over here real quick.
First Fast and the Furious released in 1954.
Okay.
It was American.
Yeah, that was different. That wasn't familiar.
Yeah, Kai, they started in 1954, and they've been going since 2020. Come on, man. You know which one we're talking about. We're talking about the Vin Diesel.
Dom's father started it all.
Yeah, Dom's father. You know what, Sean? You just gave away the entire premise of Fast and the Furious 10. You know, when Dom's father is trapped on Jurassic World.
Dom and John go back in time.
And the only thing that can stop a genetically altered T-Rex is family. Okay? That's all. That's the only way this
Rock's
starts.
face is on the T-Rex.
Oh, my God.
Hobbs
What the hell
Rex.
is going on here, man? I can't support this.
So what do you got coming up on the show here, Kai? Give us a preview here.
Okay, so we're going to talk with Ricky J. Mark about the Miami Heat. Of course, yeah, you know, the Miami Heat are the Miami Heat right now. We'll also talk to Alex Baumgartner from 5 Reasons Sports. That in the second hour, where we'll talk to him about the Florida Panthers. So we'll do a lot of that. I'll talk about how your team got helped out and moved forward only because of referees, and other stuff regarding the UCL and the upcoming game this Sunday for Inter Miami.
Well, sounds like a fantastic show. Thank you to Sean. Appreciate you putting on the show and helping me be my co-host along the way. I want to thank everyone who tuned in. Appreciate you guys tuning in on YouTube, whether you did it through the OnsideRadio.com website or if you were tuning in through the chat or any of our other apps. Thank you. Kai's Corner coming up next.
Hey, is that a faucet running? Nope, that's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. It is? Yeah, forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. The water comes straight from the forest to us. In fact... What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum. That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe. How do trees clean the air? They soak up the dirty air on their leaves, branches, and trunks, which means clean air for us. Cool. I didn't know that. Yep. But the forest does more than give us clean